So, last classes we have discussed about the architect and everything. Okay, so today, okay, last class, okay, I have also discussed about what are all the basic settings you have to do in the source system. When it comes to the source system, what are the basic things? So the most important, so this is the source system where we are going to be taking as a ECC as the source system here. So when you go to the transaction code, when you go to that transaction code, CFIN IMG, with and also important things, the nodes which has to be implemented in the source system for the initial balance upload also we have discussed in a very detailed way. What are all the nodes we have to implement in the source system for the initial load balances? If you're not implemented that particular nodes, what happened? The initial load balances cannot be happened from the source system to the target system. So those nodes are very, very important. I already given the nodes which has to be implemented and also shown the demo in the system also. Now, after you implement those nodes, now the next thing we are going to be coming called as now the basic things we have to do for the initial load balances. Now, in this initial load balances, now the transaction code is CFIN underscore CFIN IMG. So we have to go this I am doing in the source system, not in the target system. Why? Because initial load balances has to be done from the source system to the target system. Here, as per our architect, the source system is our ECC system and the target system is our SAP S4 HANA system. So just to recap everything, so I'm going to the CFIN under CFIN IMG. When you go to the CFIN IMG, now you have a called as okay general settings, which is the IMG for the general settings. Go for the general settings IMG. Now we have discussed about our company code is RK02. Our company code is RK02. So what is the start of the balances? So the year which we are going to be representing here, the balances where we are going to be starting from, which year you want to start the balances, and which year you want to start the processing of the initial load of the documents. The first one is balances and the second one is the year we are talking about the document. Can somebody can tell me what is the difference between the balances and the documents?
Documents, yeah, documents are nothing but individual portions, debits and credits, and balances is nothing but
trial balances.
Trial balance. It's sum of all the debits and credits. That and net of that is a balance. Okay.
Okay. So you're talking about the debits and credits. So whether it is a vendor or a customer or whether it is a GL or asset accounting or what it may be. Okay, I am right. So when you talk about the document is nothing but it contains about the line items. Okay, it contains about the debit line item and the credit line item. So in the first stage, we are going to be discussing about the balances initial load. And the second one, we are going to be discussing, we are talking about the documents. And the third, the period which is going to be talking called as the first period of your financial year. What is the first period of your financial year? So I'm taking it as the one. One is nothing but your January. One is nothing but your January. And you leave this field empty. Why? Because it is going to be the period. Period is going to be the for the final periods we are going to be considering. So leaving the field is nothing but all the periods are going to be till the date. All the periods balances are going to be transferred. Now all the GL account relations, okay, general ledger reconciliation accounts, okay, has to be get transferred. When you call it as a GL general ledger GL accounts, for example, what you do, okay, in the initial load, okay, so when you're taking all the balances related to the reconciliation account, let us assume that when you're taking the balances of all the reconciliation account, when you call it as a reconciliation account, sundry debtors, sundry creditors, we have an asset reconciliation account, we have a material reconciliation account, there will be different types of reconciliation accounts will be there. So when you take all the balances of the reconciliation accounts, now what happened? They are getting transferred to their assigned substitution account. There will be a one account where I'm going to be assigning, which is going to be called as a substitution account. So where you are going to be defining the substitution account, that substitution account I will define in my initial load account. So when I go to the target system, now I'm going to the target system. Very, very important. So this is my target system. My source system is nothing but my ECC and the target system is nothing but my SAP S4 HANA system. Okay. So I'm going to the CFIN. Okay. Now, what is the transaction I had to use here? Okay, either you can use the CFIN IMG, CFIN IMG, or you can also go or you can also go with the help of transaction also. SPRO, IMG. You have to come to the financial accounting, central finance, and here you can see the two navigation. One is the steps you have to maintain the source system. Another one is the nothing but central finance system. So when you come to the steps to the source system, already we are going to do this part. Okay, that is nothing but we have to do the same settings what you have done in the source system. So this is nothing but my source system. When you come to the source system, this is what exactly I'm doing in the source system. Now the same thing you have to do here. So the period is going to be the one. And once you complete the initial load, you have to come and select the checkbox. Before, you should not do the checkbox. So what is the checkbox is telling that once you've done the initial balance, means it is just like a cutover activity. So once you're done all the balances and the documents in your target system, then you need to come and select the checkbox. Until or unless if you're not done, don't select the checkbox, leave it as an empty. Why? Because your initial balance check loads have not been done as of now. So once you're done with this, okay, now save it. Okay, this is the activity where I have to do. This is the activity where I have to do in the source system. Okay, so this part, okay, the central payments, everything we are going to be discussing. But first, the part is nothing but we are discussing about the initial payment. So initial load. Now come to the target system. What is the target system? Target system is nothing but your central finance system. Okay, come to the target system, and here we have a concept called as initial load. The first major.
Rahul, this is Rajesh.
Yeah, Rajesh.
DB2 is your S4 HANA system, right? Which is our target system, correct?
Exactly. See, whenever you come to the part here, DB2 is nothing but your target system, and EPX is nothing but your
ECC.
ECC.
Yeah.
So, okay, as discussed over here is, okay, so we are going to do like this. So what is happening here? When I take my source system as an EPX, and when I take my target system as a DB2, this is my EPX. And this is nothing but DB2.
DB2. So
DB2, yeah.
Yeah. Can you please go back to the screen where you are?
Yes.
In DB2.
Yes.
You also did something here in source system settings, correct?
Exactly.
And I wonder why we have to do that, because my thinking is when we are in target system, I would expect we configure something related to target system configuration. So why we are doing something related to source here?
Why? Because see, when we are doing the interface between the source system to the target system, actually, so here these are normally where we have to do in the target system. Actually, why should we do in the target system is nothing but, so when you take one setting I had done in the source system, this is what only the one setting which I have done in the source system. So this screen has to be same resemble with your target system. Why should we do that? See, okay, see what happening here. See, when I am moving the balances from the source system to the target system, the source system setting should be the same as your target system actually. So it should be the balance, means what are all the documents you are transferring, what are all the balance you are transferring from the source system to the target system. The match means whatever the company code you are going to be selecting, whatever the inputs you are making in the source system. And here you can see the package size. Package size is nothing but the number of jobs which I'm going to be running, So the maximum number of package size of the jobs will be the maximum. I'm going to be running 50 jobs. Okay. So I'll show you where we are going to be doing the configuration. So this screen setting, when I'm coming to my target system, what is your target here? Target is nothing but your DB2 system. DB2 is nothing but your central finance system. So the same settings has to be incorporated in the target system also. Why? Because whenever I do the balance, the system go and check to the same setting in the central finance, whether you have configured the same thing in the central finance or not. If that configuration is going to be the mismatching, for example, if I come here, if I select my source system in the same replication setting, In the same replicate, this is also going to be called as a replication setting. So I'm not going to be saying. This is also going to be the replication setting from the source system setting. But here, the replication settings which I'm going to be making, there are two things, sir. One is initial load of the balances. Second one is the replication. When you call it as a replication, see here. When you call it as a replication, see here, I'll explain you. Okay, see. And what we have done, the SLT has been installed on the top of your EPX. That is going to be called a system landscape replication process, SLT. See, sir. Now, what I have done here, the first one is going to be calling it as the loading of the data, loading of the data, and the second one is going to be called as replication. These are the two things. One is initial load. We can call it as the initial load. So I'll write here initial load, and the second one is replication data, replication of the data. So the initial load is nothing but we have done the settings in the EPX. This is what initial load setting I have done in the EPX. This is the initial load setting. What is the initial load setting? Initial load setting is nothing but from which year to which year, from which year the documents has to be transferred. That is the balances and the documents has to be transferred to your source system, to the target system. So as on today, let us assume that on October 1st, we are going for a go live, sir. On October 1st, we are going for a go live. So what I'm going to do for the current year data, I have given it from one. One is nothing but 2019 from the month of January till the date. Till the date means till the month of September 30th, all the first initial load I will complete, sir. This is the setting which I have to do for the initial load, including all the reconciliation accounts also, Now I'm saving the data. See here, okay? This is initial load. This is my initial load. Okay. Now this is the initial load, you have done the target system. Why? Because balances and the documents are getting transferred from the EPX to DB2. Okay, this I have done. So when you come to the part of source system, this is called as replication settings, sir. When you call the replication, once you have done the initial load, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the replication. Replication is nothing but from the source system to the target system. Now, all the online transactions, now you have done the load. After you load, you are going for a go live. Go live is nothing but from the October 1st, you are going to do the replication. Already you complete the initial load. Now, this replication setting, when I call it as a replication setting, these replication settings I had to do in the target system, not in the source system. So, the source system and the target system has to be matched over here.
Okay. So, like this is AJ. Let me just summarize it.
Yeah.
I mean, the foremost thing is to have the initial load, which will load the balances and the line items. Okay.
Yes.
And this is where in the source system certain tables are populated. Okay.
Exactly.
So step two, the step is the replication where you require SLT to move the transactions from the source systems back into the S4 HANA system. Am I correct?
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. A replication process.
Yeah, but the important thing is, you had mentioned this about a week ago or so, that initial balances, initial loads, there are certain tables that have to be populated on the source side. And then of course, the replication process takes those transactions out of there, the SLT, and moves into S4HANA. What's the name of those tables in the source system?
That's what we are discussing. So first we are going to do the settings, sir. Then we are going for the table, sir. First we'll do the settings. First we'll complete the settings as the source system in the target system. Why? Because we are going to do certain accounts are there. So certain accounts are nothing but what are all the substitution accounts and what are all the clearing accounts. So when I call it as the substitution account, when any reconciliation postings are going to be, and that has to be go to my substitution account, and there is a clearing account where the clearing account is getting nullified with a zero balance. So we are going to discuss that. So after that, we have to see what are all the tables we have to map in the SLT for the replicating of the transaction from the source system to the target system. Clear? Rajesh and Ajay, sir?
Yes, Rahul. I'm clear.
Yes, it's very clear in my mind.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now, okay. So now we are going to be doing, now we have done the setting. Now what we have to do, now we need to come to see this is the setting I have done for the source system. Now I need to come to the target system. In the target system, there is a point which we are going to be discussing called as initial load. Very, very important. This is the first major important now. So what you are going to do, initial load setting. What are the initial load setting I have to do here? Okay, there are 3 steps will be there. Okay, so first is going to be called as initial load setting. Initial load setting for the years and the mapping, and the second one is for the management accounting, which is going to be called as the controlling, and the third one is going to be called as the financial accounting. Very, very important now. Okay, now we are going to be coming to the initial load setting. In the initial load setting, choose the logical system. So Rajesh, you just now you asked the question, what is EPX and what is DB2? So EPX is nothing but the source system, and the DB2 is nothing but your target system. Now, what are the logical systems? Because until or unless if a system doesn't have the logical name of the system where we are going to do the initial load from the base system to the target system, the system cannot identify. Why? Because as a man, we can do the initial load, but how? What about the system? From which system to which system you are going to be mapping? Can you map and show it to me? Here we are going to map the logical system here. So when I come to the logical system, see, this is my logical system. What you are going to be called as logical system, this is what exactly. So when from which system to which system you are going to do the initial load, from this EPX, this is my central finance source. This is my so what do you say, source system, and the number of packages, the number of jobs I'm going to be running called as the 50 here. So now I'll go to my source system. When I come to the system, when I go to the, yes sir.
Yeah, you see that you said you put 50 jobs, okay? Is that a default? It's a default or
it's a default. SAP recommendation is 50. So either you can go with the more or less. Okay, so it depends upon the volume of the data you're going to be doing the initial load.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
now,
yes, Rahul, so let's say we complete the initial load. And from that point onwards, we are going to replicate the data in real-time basis, correct?
Exactly.
And from that point onwards, what does this mean, this package? I mean, does it have any value? Or...
No, it don't. It is only for the initial load. Only when you come to the replication, so the replication can be the online or something. The replication can be done, see, as a batch job. That is completely different.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay, so this is only for the initial load we are discussing. We are not come to the replication point right now.
Okay. So now, is there a maximum number that we can we should not cross, like more than 100 or 200?
No, actually, so there is SAP recommendations go up to 50 because 50 is going to be the very recommended. The maximum, there is no up to the maximum level. So when I'm working in my previous projects also, I just went up to 50 only. We have taken as a base as a 50. So it will not take more than 10 to 15 minutes of time, sir. Even if the load is about 1 TB or 2 TB of the data, it will not take more than 50 to 20 minutes. So 50 is going to be the most recommended for you.
Okay, makes sense. Okay,
yeah.
Because I have never used a batch job that takes 50 parallel processing.
Okay. But when you done when I have done the migration project, actually migration is not a central finance. When I've done the ECC to SAP S4 HANA, so there also something like initial loads has to be done to the AC Doka table. There we have went up to 30 to 40 jobs only, even for the big projects also. So it is, so this is what initial load you are doing for only for 1 year. That is for 2019. 50 is the maximum 50 is the maximum number you can take up here, not more than that.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
So when I go to the system here, what is the sales status system? So when I go to the system here, okay, my system is going to be on the ECX. So when I go to the system here, so this is what exactly my system number, okay, everything I'm going to be discussing here. So this is what exactly my system properties where it's going to be taking. So if I go into the logical.
Okay, Mahesh, go and show me the logical system, the one that was EPX, blah, blah, blah. What is the logical system number?
I'm showing the same thing, sir. Now I'm showing to the same thing, EPX.
Okay, but can you just point to that field here?
What's that?
I mean, there was an entry for the source system, EPX, blah, blah, blah. What is that?
Okay, you're talking about this one, sir?
Which one?
Yeah, you're talking about the EPX file, the source system number which have been provided over there?
Yes, yes, source, yes, yes.
So
Go
you're
back to
talking
that.
about this number?
Yeah, yeah. Where do I see this on that screen, on the other
It's
screen?
very simple, sir, actually. See.
Mahesh knows the answer.
Not like
Huh.
that. It is very, very easy. Okay, you can see here from here. Okay, so when I come to SCC1, sorry, we have to do that. Okay, SCC4, we have to come to SCC4. If I select the system and if I go to the properties, okay, so here, see here, logical system.
Yeah. Here's again, okay. STC4, and then what did you do after that?
SCC4, okay, so, okay, in the which client we have login, sir? We have login to the client which is going to be called as 800. See here, sir. 800 is nothing but our, okay, user defined client. 00 is nothing but your golden client, but 800 is nothing but your source defined client. So here, when I come here, there are different clients are there. There are different user defined clients are there. This is my golden client. So I should never touch my golden client. So I logged into the client which is going to be called as 800. So I have selected the source client. I selected the source client and I clicked on, okay, in the details icon. Here you can see the details icon. So when I'm taking it to the details icon, here I can see the logical system. The logical system is going to be, this is my logical system. And what is the currency of the group currency? Group currency is going to be the euro.
Yeah, so when do I get access to the system? So I can, a lot of theory here, I want to be able to play with it. When do I get the access to the system?
By tomorrow, by tomorrow.
Okay, if that doesn't happen, the rent tech will be fined $500 per hour, okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Stop this, stop this stuff. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to get access, we're going to get email, and then when are your documents are going to be there? I'm very anxious to get onto the S, so I can go and do this.
Documents, okay, certification documents are going to be placed. That's right. By the weekend, you're going to get the certification documents, everything on the blog.
Okay, all right. Otherwise, you'll be hijacked. Okay.
No, don't worry, sir. See, you have gone through my SAP S4 and finance classes also. When I given the commitments, I have never missed any commitments. No? All right, yes.
I agree with you, but my mind is wandering. I just want to get, because I want to take the certification exam, and I can give you all the details. The section you're teaching right now will constitute about 12% of the exam. Okay.
Sure, definitely. Okay. So this is my logical system.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Rahul.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, Ajay, this is Rajesh. May I know when you are planning to give certification exam?
You know one thing, I'm going to, as soon as possible.
Okay.
Mahesh finishes his class, and the week after that, I'll take the certification exam, and I'm going to start diving into this. And hey, Mahesh, one more thing. There are a lot of blogs on central finance, initial loads and things like that. If you can point us to that, because
No, sir, don't go for the blog. See, one thing, you have believed on me and you came and joined in my classes. So don't go through any kind of blogs or anything. The blogs have been written based on the subject, what they have done as a practice only. It is not apart from what they have done the innovation. So in my class, the blocks are going to be not most important. In my class, if you listen my classes, okay, what settings we are making for the initial load or for the mapping and everything, that is more than enough. You can go and write your own block also after that.
Okay, so one of the things, let me share what I would like to see, or I'm going to do myself, is that once I get the access and ask for your notes, I'm going to prepare the notes for the certification exam. And there's nothing out there. I can't find any questions on certification exams. So
we'll discuss that. There's no point of that. Okay, so definitely. So you have believed in me and you came over here. So you already completed your syllabus of SAP S4 HANA Finance with me. So you are well satisfied, and then only you came and joined over here. So in the same pattern, how the classes have been went for SAP S4 HANA Finance, the same thing. The classes are going to be conducted for S4 HANA Finance, Central Finance also.
Yeah.
So believe in me.
Yeah. Okay. Of course I do. Of course I do.
I'll tell you, sir. That we'll discuss that. That we'll discuss. Okay. So let me complete this first part. Okay. Then we'll go for that. Okay. Don't worry. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Here, this is the logical system. I'm going to be taking this. This is the logical system number. So just the same logical system number I'm going to be taking here. The package number of jobs I'm going to be taking as a 50. So this is very clear to all of you. So now I'm going to be saving. So now, Mahesh, you can ask me one more question. If I have the one more ECC system, for example, I have the two source systems. One is the ECC, another one is the 4.7, something like that. So for this 4.7, something like that, so already we have discussed about what are the nodes we have to implement all that, okay? Now, when you have another source system, then the logical system of the source system should be kept over here. So all the logical system, it is not one logical system, because you are doing the replicating of the data, you are doing the initial loading of the data from the source system to the target system. So all the systems has to be kept as a logical system here with the number of packages. Very, very important. So here we have only one source system. Yeah.
Now I have a legacy system, which is say Oracle, and this is not a SAP system. But all the references to the source Oracle system will have to be maintained here. Is that correct?
Exactly, you're absolutely right.
So this is where I have got to specify all the source system, whether SAP, non-SAP, whatever it is.
No. So you're talking about the Oracle database. No? You're talking about the Oracle system, not as a source system as a SAP.
No, I'm talking about I got an Oracle system. I've got a PeopleSoft. I've got SAP, and I consider Oracle as legacy system.
Okay? Then you can take, see here. See, for example here, that's what I'm telling. See here, okay? When you take the logical system here, okay, EP, okay, this is my source system where I'm going to be taking as the non-SAP system, for example. So this is my source system here. So you have to do for all the source system, not for only for SAP here. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I wanted to.
Now the second thing is nothing but, yes, once you've chosen the logical system, now you need to come to the define the clearing and the substitution account. Very, very important here. So what is happening here? We have so many reconciliation accounts. When you are doing the initial load from the EPX to the DEX, so we have so many reconciliation accounts, and we have these reconciliation accounts are nothing but the open item accounts, recon accounts. We can call it as a recon accounts, customer recon account, vendor recon account, like we have the asset recon account. Like this, we have several recon accounts. So what is the purpose? What is you're going to do here with this? Very, very important now. Okay. Now, in this step, there are two things. One is going to be called as a substitution account, and the second one we are going to be calling it as a migration clearing account. One is going to be called a substitution account, and the second one we are going to be calling it as a migration clearing account. So migration clearing account is for the balances. Whenever we do any trial balance, for example, the GL balance or the vendor balance or the customer balance, when it has to be uploaded, so, okay, when you're going to be uploading the vendor balances, so vendor balances has to be get created, and your one of the account has to be get nullified. That is called as a migration clearing account. So this is called, this we can call it as an offset account, actually, offset account. And the substitution account is mainly useful for the reconciliation balances, for the main reconciliation balances. So I'll tell you in much more detailed way. Okay, see here. See an example. When you're taking any balances, very, very important concept. So I'm discussing about the substitution and the migration clearing account over here. So when you're going to be taking the balances which are related to the reconciliation account, what do you call it as a reconciliation account? Reconciliation accounts are nothing but, okay, so when you take a system, we have the general ledger, and we have the accounts payable, and we have the accounts receivable. Okay, these are going to be called as accounts payable and account receivable, and this is my general ledger. So general ledger is the central tenet of total accounting system. So when you call it as AP is nothing but accounts payable vendor, and the AR is nothing but account receivable, which we are going to be calling them as the customers. So we should have the reconciliation. Whatever the postings you are making in the accounts payable, the posting has to be get reconciled to your general ledger, and the AR posting, the customer accounts has to be get reconciled to your general ledger. This is called as a reconciliation process. Normally we call it as a reconciliation. I think there is no need to explain about the reconciliation because already you studied and came here. I'm right, Rajesh and Ajay sir. Do you want me to explain about what is the reconciliation account here?
I'm good, Mahesh, from my side.
So no need to explain about the reconciliation. So what is happening here? whatever the balances you have in the reconciliation account. For example, if I take the sundry creditors is nothing but your AP reconciliation account. So when you take the sundry creditors, and there is a called as the sundry debtors. So sundry creditors is related to the vendor and sundry debtors is related to the customer. So when you see the balances related to the reconciliation account, these balances, what happened, we are going to be transferring to the assigned substitution account. When you call it as the assigned substitution account here, so what I'm going to do, yes, I have to go to the new entry. And what balances, which company codes balances you are going to be transferring. So you have to give the company code. And here you need to provide one. I'll tell you what is this. I'll tell you what is this migration clearing account. For a meanwhile, I'm taking one dummy number. Okay. Now select. I'll tell you what is this migration account. I'll tell you now. Okay, already it is there. Okay, so select your company code, and here there is a called as a defined substitution account. So what is the play of this substitution account? Here I have given one substitution account. Okay, what is the play of this substitution account? As I told you that you have to do the balances related to the reconciliation account, and these balances related to the reconciliation accounts are getting transferred to the substitution account. I'm not talking about the trial balances. I'm not talking about the vendor balance or something like. I'm talking about the reconciliation account balances. These reconciliation account balances are getting transferred to this particular account. So in the second step, what you're going to do, all the open items are posted to the reconciliation account. Whenever you see any kind of postings are happening, all the open items are nothing but which are payable and which are going to be the receivable. When you go to the SAP page, we'll see what is the total amount open item for the vendor account, so that we can see the balances. It is cleared or not cleared. If it is cleared, we cannot call it as the open item. If it is not cleared, those are going to be called as the open items. Those are going to be called as open item balances. So we have the customer open items and we have the vendor balances. Now all these open items are posted to this particular reconciliation account. So these open item balances which have posted to this reconciliation account, those balances you need to transfer to this particular substitution account. Very, 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 very important. So what you are going to do, you are going to be transferring to this particular substitution account. So while the offsetting entries are posted to this substitution account, offsetting entries are nothing but all these open item accounts are getting posted to this particular substitution account. And once this initial load is complete, the balances of all the substitution accounts should be automatically zero. Why? Because there should not be any balances in the substitution account. This substitution account only I am using for the initial load of the balances from the source system to the target system. Once the initial load balances have been successfully completed, now there should not be any balances in this substitution account. The substitution account always should be the zero with your process. So which account you are going to taking as a migration account? This account. So the substitution account will be the debit and credit. And here, whatever the migration account you are going to be taking, this migration account, we are going to be taking it as an offset account. So this will become as a debit and credit for your transaction. So when it is called as a vendor reconciliation, all the vendor reconciliation accounts are going to be the credit to this account, and which account has to be debited, and this account, the migration clearing account, has to be get debited over here. So when you come to the customer, the migration clearing account will become the debit and the customer account will become the credit. When you come to the GL, the migration account will become the debit and the substitution account will become the credit. So these are the two accounts we need to configure here for the initial balance upload purpose. Yes, sir, your question.
Yeah, very important question. Suppose I've got the reconciliation account for customers, okay? A reconciliation account for vendors, okay? Now, I'm going to define my my substitution account, okay? And I define, can you go back to the substitution account, please? That is screen.
Substitution account is not a reconciliation account. One more important. Substitution account is not a reconciliation account here.
No, but I'm saying that this account does not hold. I want to confirm this. See, I've got one reconciliation account and a second reconciliation account. The sum of the two. So do I have to have a substitution account for each one of the reconciliation account?
No. Only one substitution account for all the reconciliation. We are not going to be taking different substitution accounts.
Yeah. So say my balance was B1, B2, B3, B4. I will sum all them up and they will go into a substitution account, correct?
Exactly. So I'll tell you, sir. I'll tell you. I'll tell you from the, okay, so I'll clarify your doubt. So when I'm taking the migration clearing account, this is what exactly we call it as offsetting account actually. So normally,
Right.
whenever you do the any balance transfer, the migration account should be there if it is a debit or credit. So what is happening? You must define only one migration clearing account for each company code, sir. You should not have more than one
Ah,
migration clearing account. Only one migration clearing account for each company code. Okay, point is clear? For which we are
yes.
going to do the postings. For which, otherwise we can call it as a way the postings are going to be loaded to in the central finance system actually with this help of migration clearing account.
And after the initial load, all the dollars will be in, or rupees will be in the migration clear account, and then the substitution account will have zero in it, right?
Exactly, you're absolutely right. So what is happening? I'll tell you. Okay, so you are going to be defining only one migration clearing account for each every company code. This is a certification question, Rajesh and Ajay also. This is the certification question. How many migration clearing accounts you are defining if we have multiple company codes? So there should be only one migration clearing account for each company code for which postings are to be loaded into the central finance system.
But also, Mahesh, it's very important. There's also only one. There's only one substitution account for per company code as well. Correct?
Exactly. If you have one, if you have, Mahesh, let us assume that if I have 4 company codes, so can I use the same subscription account? You can use the same subscription account, but make sure that this particular migration clearing account has been created in all the company codes or not. It is not at the okay. So if, for example, I'm taking here, okay. So for example, I'll go like this. So you have only one chart of account. Your chart of account is going to be called as YCOI. YCOI is nothing but one chart of account, and you have assigned this chart of account to 4 company codes: RK01,
Right.
RK02, and RK03, and you have assigned to RK04. Now, all the 4 company code balances are getting transferred from the source system to the target system. So I have created only one migration clearing account at the company code level RK01. So can I use the same thing to the 2, 3, 4? Now make sure that have you extended to all the company codes or not. If you're not extended, first you need to extend it to 2, 3, and 4. Then you can use the same number for all the company codes. So here the point is very clear that this is at the company code level. You are going to be defining one migration clearing account. Clear now?
Yes.
So why we have to maintain here the migration clearing account? For postings are to be loaded to the central finance system actually. So to load the data into the central finance system, I should need this migration clearing account. Migration account we can call it. That is what while all the balances are getting posted to this particular account, and this account is used for the offsetting posting normally. So when you Rajesh and Ajay, can you give one offsetting account in your real time what you have been experienced? Any offsetting account. I think you are done with the so many offsetting accounts in your real time. Okay, so can you give one example of offsetting account? Not with the central finance. I'm not talking from the central finance point of view. I'm talking from the normal SAP S4 HANA Finance or SAP FICO. There is you can give as many as offsetting accounts you have defined. Can you give one example? At what transaction you have used one offsetting account?
I'm trying to recall. I'm drawing a blank. Tell me. I'm recalling. I can't. I don't remember. Mahesh, tell me.
So when you go to the inventory of raw material procurement, okay. So when I go to the PO, when I go to the MM, we are going to be raising the PO. Against the PO, you are going to do the goods receipt. Going to do the goods receipt.
Yeah, goods receipts. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the meaning of goods receipt? Goods receipt is nothing but you are receiving the raw material from the vendor.
Yes,
raw material
absolutely.
Received against the purchase order means whatever the raw material you have ordered with the help of the P1, now you have received the raw material. But I have received the raw material. I know that when I do the goods receipt, I know that my inventory of raw material account is getting debited. Okay, right. This is very good. Inventory.
So this
of
is
raw material account is going to be the debit. But which account has to be credited to offset this account?
this is the
So
one
I'm
that
going to be taking one offset account which is going to be called a GRIR clearing account.
GRIR. That's a good example.
So this GRIR clearing account is the offset account here. Why? Because what do you mean by offsetting account? I cannot debit one account. There should be one corresponding offset credit account should be there. If I'm debiting the salaries, or if I'm taking a loan from the bank, or if I'm paying the rent, there should be two line items. One is the debit line item, another one is the credit line item. But when you're receiving the raw material, when I'm receiving the raw material, only one account I have, which is going to be called as inventory of raw material account. This account is debiting. Which account you have to credit? There should be one offsetting account. That offsetting account is nothing but GRIR clearing account. And one more.
And by the way, at the month end, GRIR should be flushed out to zero.
Exactly. That is the logic. Now you got it. Okay. That is the logic I am going to be implementing. And once the initial load has been completed, your migration clearing account has to be get balanced with a zero balance.
And one more thing. So the moral of the story is very simple. If you define an account is in the chart of accounts, you can assign that account to different company codes. With the same thing, you can define a migration account, but you have to assign it to each and every company code and that's what you were talking about.
Exactly. You're right.
It's no different.
Clear
so my
now?
question,
Rajesh, is it clear?
Yes, Rahul, it's clear.
Okay, but my question is, how do I define in chart of accounts? I define.
It's very simple, sir. It's very simple. Now I'll show you here. See here. Okay.
Yeah.
Now when you come to the RK01 as the company code, okay. Now I'll go to the new entry. Okay. See here. I'll show that. Okay. It's very simple. Now when I go to FS00, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to be giving RK01 as a company code.
Right.
Okay. And here I know that which account I'm going to be looking out. Okay. So which account I'm going to, so it will, okay, whether it is going to be coming as a load or asset balance. So here we are going to be taking, this is a migration account. When I click here, you can see here. Okay. So as I told you that when I given the migration clearing account, the description is going to be called a migration clearing. When I go to the control data, as I told you that migration clearing account is not a reconciliation account. It is not an open item account also. Very, very important. In certification, they will ask you the question. Migration clearing account is never be as an open item account. It is just a normal account which I'm going to be creating for the migration of the initial balance upload only, not for any other purpose. When you're doing, see, when I'm doing the balances, so when I go back to this particular setting here, okay, when I go back to the particular setting, when I'm going to be doing here, when I'm going to be doing the initial load, okay, when I'm doing that, so whenever you are doing the balances, so I'm doing the balances from the start of the balance from the 2019 from the January. So when you're transferring these balances, GL balance, vendor balance, customer balance, and asset balance, so these balances are get transferred to this particular migration clearing account, which can be debit, or if it is a vendor balances, it will be the credit. If it is the customer balance, it will be the debit.
So basically, what you're really saying is that it's just like a normal GL account. That's what it is.
Exactly, sir.
Yeah. And what you were saying? This cannot be. The question would be that could be asked on the test. What
migration clearing account? Okay, migration clearing account. When we see the migration clearing account, so when I given this particular account here, okay, in the initial setting here, or when you go back and when I see that, okay, when you are given this migration account here. So this migration clearing account can't be the reconciliation account, and it cannot be selected as the open item management.
Cannot be a reconciliation and open
item management. It should be the normal account only.
And that's what the question I was asking, which you answered beautifully.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rajesh, is clear now?
Yes, Mahesh.
Okay. Now, one migration clear. If I have multiple company codes RK0 to RK03, now I need to define all the migration clearing because the migration you're going to be doing at the company code level. Okay, very, very important. The first point is clear. Now I'm selecting, now I'm going to the defined subscription accounts. Substitution accounts is mainly for the reconciliation account, not for the balances. Yes, balances are getting transferred to this particular account. What happened to my reconciliation accounts? Okay, whenever I say that, okay, whenever you see all the balances related to the reconciliation account, these balances are getting transferred to this particular assigned substitution account. So yes, this will be the debit and this will be the credit. But what substitution accounts you're going to be taking? Here I need to come here. Okay, now when I take here, this is one account. So here you have to define the substitution account is going to be the one, but here what are all the accounts has to be get substituted here. What are all the accounts? As I told you that there will be reconciliation accounts are going to be done. So here for each reconciliation account, you must first create the new balance sheet account without the reconciliation account and assign over here. So for all the reconciliation, now when I'm taking, this is my substitution account. Okay, so very, very important here. Okay, so the same, okay, this is my migration account and this is my substitution account. Yes, sir.
Yeah, explain that to me again. I'm a little bit hazy. Slow down a little bit and explain the right phrase. Explain this again.
Exactly, simple. For each, yes, sir, tell me.
Each reconciliation account.
Yeah, I'll explain. For each reconciliation account, you must first create a new balance sheet account.
Correct.
You must, you must create first balance sheet account without reconciliation. Just now I shown that. Yeah, without reconciliation. Here I shown that. So it should not be the reconciliation account. See here. Without reconciliation.
So what you're saying, go back to the previous screen, please, if you don't mind. So what you're really saying is that right here, that I can have multiple reconciliation accounts and I can have the same substitution account, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, because we said by what we said, you said that a substitution account will be defined in the child account and then can be assigned to every single company code.
Exactly. See here, I'm taking the source account, sir. I'm taking the source account. Now I'm going to the source account. This is my source account. When I double click on it, here, see here, these are the balances. This account, okay, this is going to be called as my outgoing balance sheet. This is my outgoing bank account. Okay, this is my bank account. Okay, so this bank account, what I'm going to do here, this is my normal account actually. So when I take this bank account balances have been given here and it has to be get migrated to this particular account. In the same way, I have several GL accounts are there. I have several GL accounts. All the GL accounts you need to put here. All the GL accounts, whichever. And the same substitution account is going to be the debit and credit for this particular transaction over here. So if I go to this balances, for example, if I go to this particular account.
Yeah, very clear.
FS10N. If I'm going to the FS10N, I'm going to be giving the account and I'm giving the 2019. If there are balances, the balances are. If there are no balances, then the okay. So if I execute, see here, there is no data is there. Means what happening here? If the data is not there, then what happening is I given the account, but this particular account will be the empty. Why? Because there will be no transactions are going to be happen because the balance sheet accounts have never had the balances. In the same way, I need to give all the GL accounts here, which are going to be called as a process of balance sheet account, which are going to be called as reconciliation account, and those accounts are getting transferred to this particular substitution account.
Yeah, this Mahesh, this is exactly what I was saying before. When you have a reconciliation account R1, R2, and R3, they can be assigned to this substitution account. You don't have to have a different substitution account because a substitution account is now associated to different company codes. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, you just go back to your screen, and that's what I was saying. That if you
it's
have
very simple, sir. Here only it is there. Here only, the logic here is only this. See here, I given the company code, sir, because I selected only one company. Logic is here only. See here, the migration clearing account. Anyhow, it is going to be the one. Okay, so when I selected the migration, when I go to the substitution account, what are all the substitution account at the company code level? So at the company code level, you have multiple accounts, but you can use the same substitution account. Logic is very, very simple.
Yes, very simple. In fact, yeah, absolutely.
So this setting we have to do before you go for the initial balance upload. As I told you that all the balances related to the reconciliation accounts, all the balances, okay, you have multiple reconciliation, vendor, customer, GL, everything. You have to give all the balance accounts over here. So if you want, you can write the statement also. So all the balances related to the reconciliation accounts are transferred to this assigned substitution account.
Absolutely.
So this step, who is going to do? The financial consultants are going to do this step. The financial consultants are the main consultants who has to perform this activity. Once you perform this activity only, so here I given one example, okay? So once you perform this activity, what we have to do? So here, the main purpose, so we have completed the logical system. The logical system is nothing but from where you are transferring the balances. The logical system I have been given here. And what are all the balances, which company code balances, what is the clearing account I have given here. So once you are given the initial load setting here, then I need to come to the initial load execution for the financial accounting. So yeah. So what I have to do here? So you need to do the initial. Now, how many batch jobs have been given, sir? What is the package size have been given? 50. 50 is nothing but my package size. Now, when I come to the initial load execution, there are certain steps are there. So these are the steps we have to follow here. So initial load data retention, the time and the deletion of the application log. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. First, initial load execution for all the company codes and initial load execution for the selection company codes. My dear friend, hey Rahul, don't do for all the company codes. Do only for the selected company codes.
Just do for RKO1.
Exactly. Okay. Some clients are telling that we have all the 30 company codes, what you have configured, all these 30 company codes are going to be using as a productive operation. So you have to do for all the company codes. Then I had to select the first one. Initial load execution to all the company codes. And if you want to do only for the selected company codes, you have to come and do for the initial load execution for the selected company code. So first we'll go for selected. Okay. So these are the steps. Please make sure that, okay, earlier, when you come to the 1709, this is the 1809 system. This is the 1809. Rajesh, you know how to see what is the 1809 system, how to identify 1709 and 1809?
Yes, Rahul, I do.
Okay, simple. Okay, so when you go to the system
and properties.
Yes, very
Status.
good. When I go to the status and when I look about the properties, whether you can see here whether it is the 1809 or 1809, so you can see here. And also you can know what is the software component version. Na? So here, what is the S4 core? What is this 103?
This is release, right?
This is release. Okay, S4 core 103. What does it mean that? Because for central finance, it is very, very important. Whenever you are applying any notes in the central finance, the release is very, very important, sir. See, S4 core is nothing but your component, sir. Your middle level component. That is your application. Am I right?
Exactly.
Just like ECC is the core application for your ECC 6.0. In the same way, now this is the next generation business suite. We are calling it as the next generation business suite. So what is your next generation business suite? S4 core. Your application is nothing but your S4 core. And currently, what is the release? Now, earlier, we have the ECC 6.0. You have the ECC 6.0 with EHP, EHP 1 to EHP 8 packages are there. Am I right? What is the release of ECC? 6.0 is the release. Am I right?
Correct.
In the same way, for your S4 core, where you are going to be working as a 1809. So what is the release for 1809? It is 103. Initially, when you go back to your normal SAP, S4 HANA, when the first S4 HANA release has come, 1511. After 1511, 1610. After 1610, 1709. After 1709, 1809. And we are in the coming days, we are going to see the 1909. So as of now, as of today, there are 4 SAP S4 HANA on-premise releases are there. 1511 is called as the release of 100. 1610 is going to be called as the release of 101. 1709 is called as the release of 102, and this is 1809. 1809 is called as the release of 103.
Hey, Mahesh, question for you.
Yeah.
Because on-premises version of central finance as well as cloud, okay? So in the right now for on-premise for 1809 is 103. Is there the same thing is for cloud? Or they're different releases?
No, the cloud is completely based on the application called as the SaaS, SaaS. That is the complete application component. So the cloud screens and the SAP S4 HANA on-premise screens are completely different. That releases are completely different. So cloud is, as I told you, that cloud is going to be participating as a quarterly innovation cycle, and this on-premise is going to be participating as a yearly innovation cycle. So those are completely different, sir.
Yeah, but so the releases will be different. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Because somebody wants to know that if the release for S4 HANA Central Finance for on-premises version versus the cloud version are one and the same thing. The answer is no. They're different.
Exactly, exactly. Rajesh,
Okay.
you got the point now? What is 103, 102, 1021?
Yep.
Yes, Rahul.
So because whenever you're applying any nodes, okay, the nodes are going to be released based on the 103 release. 103 means it is a 1809. If the nodes are not applicable for 103 means the nodes are applicable for the previous release, which is going to be called as a 1709. So like this, we have to do that. Okay. So you don't have the system, so you will be getting the system access by the today end of the day. So before I go to the topic of what is the initial load, so we have done till the initial load balances upload. Okay, so we have to do the upload of the balances. So till here, I need to, you people has to be get practiced about, okay, what are good. So by today end of the day, or most probably by tomorrow morning, you will get the access to the system. So what steps we have done till today? So just do the practice on the system by taking a new company. Please don't touch the RK01. RK01 and RK02 is for our practice purpose here. Don't touch the settings in the RK01. You can copy company code to company code, but don't change any settings in the RK01 and RK02. And then in the remaining company code, whatever the new company code you have created, then you do the practice till what we have done here.
Hey, Mahesh, I have my notes. But you said all the materials will be available to us by the end of this week, right?
Exactly. Notes will be get. The certification material you will get by the end of this week. Don't worry about that. And you'll also get the system access also.
Yeah, no, but before I touch the system, I want to have something in writing so I can read through it. I do much better when I read through it and try along with your notes. So I don't want to go into the system and start monkeying with it and finding out I'm wasting a lot of time.
Okay,
right?
Definitely. I'll give that. I will attach my administration guide actually. Okay.
Oh, what? What's it again?
Administration guide for the central finance.
Okay. When do I get that?
You will get what are the steps you have to do in the source system and the target system at the initial upload, before the initial upload.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I need to see.
Sure. Okay.
Right.
So Rajesh and everybody, so Sumanta and there are a lot of students are there. So you will get the access by today end of the day. So everybody, so Monday I'm going to take an assignment from the stage what we have done from the execution of the source system to the target system before we do the initial upload. So make sure that you are ready with all the settings in your system before that.
Yeah. Okay. Give us the information. We'll do that.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.